A person's character is neither fully his past nor his future. He must continually remake himself without recourse to prior decisions. In effect, the ideals of sincerity and commitment are also impossible. Now, this is worth dwelling on. Sartre's analysis of sincerity. Sartre has a fascinating analysis. If you read the excerpts, you may have come across what he says about how sincerity, in effect, self-deconstructs because of the being of pour-soi, the very being of pour-soi as nothingness. First of all, let's consider what we mean by sincerity. To demand of someone that they be sincere is basically to ask them to be what you are. So, you are what you are. If you're sincere, you are what you are. You're not pretending otherwise. You really are what you are. Now, Sartre says that this demand is self-contradictory because if you are what you are, in a way that a paper knife is a paper knife, you don't need to be sincere. You ought not to be demanded that you be sincere. In a way that we don't demand a paper knife to be a paper knife because it is what it is. So the fact that there is a demand for a person to be sincere implies that they are not what they are. So the demand for someone to be sincere is ironically a recognition that they are free to be insincere. So this reminds me of the whole ideal of since we're talking about sincerity as an ideal, it reminds me of these scenes in the second Ant-Man movie. These comedic scenes concerning the so-called truth serum, so that when you ingest it, ta-da, you become sincere. So, let's take a look at that.
So, I'm going to introduce you to my good friend Uzman. Now, Uzman is a master at extracting information from the unwilling through psychoactive means.
Oh, is that truth serum?
There's no such thing as truth serum. That's just nonsense from TV.
Well, what is it? It's a little concoction that he's been perfecting since his days with the SIS. It makes you suggestible and highly responsive.
Well, dude, that's truth serum.
No, it's not.
No fencing, but they sound like serum to me.
Right?
It's not a truth serum.
Oh, okay. Hey, I believe you.
It's not a truth serum.
If you'd walk like a duck and talk like ducks, the truth serum.
You know what? You're right. This isn't truth serum. Because I don't feel anything. That was a lie. I did feel something. This is truth serum.
There's no such thing.
Okay,
That fancy raspberry filling represents the company's rent, and we're days away from going out of business. Oh!
Out of business.
Days away?
Damn, truth serum! And you know, I was trying to protect you guys.
What?
I'm sorry. They gave me some truth serum, and then all of a sudden I started talking all honestly. Like, I hate the way that you load the dishwasher. I hate it. But you need to go home because the feds are probably going there now. And by the way, who puts a plate on the top rack, okay? They don't go there!
Hands in the air!
No, we're going to our jobs. You see, we see these guys that are trying to shoot people.
Uh-huh. So we apprehended them. For you. You're welcome.
We traffic in stolen technology.
And they have killed many people.
He's in charge.
That's true, I am. I've also committed numerous health code violations in my restaurant. Some of them would shock you.
It is truth serum.
So, going back to our discussion of sincerity. In those clips from Ant-Man that we saw, if people were sincere in a way that those characters are, who are under the influence of truth serum, if we were incapable of not telling the truth, if we were incapable of not lying and always telling the truth, then there would no longer be demands for sincerity at all. In fact, the term sincerity would lose its meaning. And the same goes for demands for authenticity, demands for being genuine, etc. Because people would be simply what they are, unable to be other than what they are. But that's not how pour-soi is. All things being equal, under normal circumstances. And that's what makes people different from objects. So, since human beings desire closure, in a way, it's just simpler to be what we are. That's what we mean by closure. There's a certain finality to something, whether it's your identity or your project, So human beings desire closure, and because of that, we experience our freedom as burdensome and anguish-inducing. So we deny that we are free, and this is one way of understanding what Sartre means by bad faith. Bad faith is the human being's default or normal mode. And Sartre cites several examples. The first one is a sort of person who embraces his role so fully that he totally identifies with it. For all intents and purposes, he just becomes what he is. So the waiter devotes himself to the role of waiter, reducing his identity purely to his facticity. So Sartre would say this waiter is in bad faith because he thinks he is a waiter. But in fact, to be true to the being of pour-soi, it's more appropriate to say that he is only a waiter in the mode of not being a waiter. That is to say, his being a waiter is dependent upon his constantly maintaining the activities of being a waiter. That you're having to maintain the identity suggests that it's not a given thing. Your being a waiter is not a passive essence. So one could be in bad faith by embracing one's facticity. One could also be in bad faith by doing the opposite, embracing one's transcendence. So another example of Sartre has to do with the homosexual who denies that he is a homosexual, claiming that he cannot be defined in any way at all. So this person denies what he is, denies his facticity, and embraces his transcendence. And Sartre says that this is a form of bad faith as well. It's like denying one's facticity in order to embrace one's transcendence is similar to saying that one it's not once past, in a way that a table is not an inkwell. So, so it's very easy to fall into bad faith, again, because we cannot stand to be the nothing between these two poles. Diba? We want things settled. Either we're our past or we're our future. It's so hard to go on every day thinking, I'm in a continuous state of creation. So much effort. So most of the time, and language helps us objectify our freedom by getting rid of all of these complicated sounding negations. I am what I am not, and I am not what I am. We just say that, well, we are this or that, we are X or Y. But in principle, again, there's a big ontological difference between a person being what he is, as opposed to an electric fan being an electric fan.